Welcome once again. It's me, Sick Pablo. I'm back. It's been 2 weeks without Blender news and Blender today, but we are here once again, episode 36 or so of Blender Today Live. We're almost in beta. This week is Blender Conference. It's gonna be, that time of the year again. Blender Conference 2018 is taking place this week here in Amsterdam. There's already people flying in a couple days to share everything they do. The lineup is amazing. There's the big names, there's the classic names, and there's even new people that have been involved with the community recently. Please give me a thumbs up, everything. Thank you for the thumbs up. I just asked for it here. Look at the chat, all the thumbs up. Yes, I was just checking actually the speed of internet, if you've seen that, because last 2 weeks I was invited to work to give a talk at the SIGGRAPH Santiago. I already mentioned this last week, but just a quick recap how amazing it's been. So thank you for everybody that invited me over. I met these awesome artists and everybody was blown away by Grease Pencil. It's gonna really change quite some people from switching to the dark side. So yes, Grease Pencil is like what everybody is talking about, but also there's been all kinds of new. I'm gonna start with saying thank you for all the support that I've been giving. I said I'm a bit sick today, but I hope you can listen to me okay. I will start with the overall Blender news in the community, and then I'm gonna jump into 2.8 because there have been so many things, so many changes. Our lovely little Blender looks so different now. So let's get to it. First of all, I have here little notes on how to proceed because there's so many things really. First, mainly, I want to share some news that has been that happened in the Blender itself, in the Blender Foundation, the Blender website, the organization. Thanks everyone for a thumbs up. You're awesome. So yeah, Blender community budgets. Basically, it's a way to share your support or your involvement with the community in Blender ID websites, such as Blender Community or Blender Today, Blender.today, or Blender Artists, or the Blender Network, or the Blender Cloud, or Blender Chat, Blender.chat, that website for chat. So all over the community. So at the beginning, we only launched the Blender Development Fund, we're gonna talk about it in a minute, and the Blender Cloud, the Code Quest, and the Blender Network so far. The network still has to be implemented, but the other two, these ones are available. So for example, if you're on a website like DevTalk or Blender Artist, you should see on your user, you should see if you're part of it. And yes, some people say like, hey, we are only if you pay, you can have these badges. No, this is just the beginning. It's the first implementation. This is the easiest to do because you can attach like a payment service, so you can know when to give and revoke badges. But in the future, we want to give it to developers, for example, or somebody that submitted 1,000 bug reports. I don't know, like a milestone, just to give more involvement to the community. So it's I think it's a pretty nice way to share what you do. If you want, it's up to you. On your Blender ID, you can change it. So don't if you don't want to share it, it's okay. You can disable it on your Blender ID if you don't want to share it. But it's there. So together with that news, last week, the development fund was last week. Jesus, I'm sorry, I'm so slow today. Development fund was launched. So finally, there is a way to directly support Blender development, Blender core development from your own house, from your own pocket. Because so far, the only way, well, I mean, the development fund was there. There was a way to do it, but it wasn't easy. Like it was a PayPal account only. You couldn't use some other services. So now there is a way. And it's similar to the Code Quest. What happens, there is targets, what we can achieve. But the reception has been great. So far, community is being involved. And it means that like this is the kind of development that actually will push Blender forward as a more stable application, because we can actually hire people full-time for like bug fixes or for specific development targets. The bigger the corporate, here there is a little text where it says like the corporate ones, like studios, for example. If you're a big studio and you want to contribute a bit more, you can have a say on which direction to give more attention to it. So for example, if Intel, Nvidia, AMD wants some kind of development, they can hire the developers for that, but the like other developers, it means that more people can be involved. So it's pretty awesome news. So enough with that. Let's jump into the rest. So another community news, because this is time sensitive, because there's only 2 days left to vote for the Susan Awards. So if you go to blender.org/conference, you will see the Susan Awards and you can vote for the your favorite movies here. So please go and do it so we can do it before Wednesday, like between today and tomorrow, because Wednesday we have to stop the voting, count the everything, download the movies, and get to the Blender conference, which is in like three days. Crazy. So vote for the development. Vote for the development fund. Like Pablo, I'm not even drunk today. I'm having tea with, well, actually mate cocido. It's a weird thing, with honey for my poor little voice. Okay, now let's get to the juicy stuff. This is how Blender looks now. Today. Not now. Blender today. Because if I'm not wrong, I just compiled it now. Let's get to the sources. Git pull. I hope nobody updated. Okay, already up to date. The sources are up to date. This is how Blender looks today. Yes, there has been many things. I'm not gonna go through every little icon discussion out there because it's been quite quite a reception, some very mixed feelings out there, including myself. I am not gonna say I love all of the icons. I think some of them need work. I think some of them needed work and they have been addressed. So I believe that over time we're gonna be addressing each one of them that maybe don't that like maybe the first approaches wasn't the right one. For example, I don't like that the Blender icon doesn't have the shape, but that's just a taste. On the other hand, there are other issues that is not more taste, but it's more like usage. For example, the world icon, it's a globe, and I find the other one more more like a world. So there are little things. On the other hand, there were also improvements on the color ones, the geometry ones, and we're gonna go through some of these changes now. Just don't want to dive into like a full hour talking about icons. I think the pictogram, like monochrome icons, are a good choice overall when used with color, when we can combine them with color coded. For example, modifiers have a blue color, so that way you can recognize them. Objects are orange, so it's the same icon but orange. And then data is green, shading is red, and all of that can be changed from the user preferences under theme all the way to the bottom, the kilometers of options, and now we have even more for the colors of the icons themselves. There are still some things that need to be tweaked. For example, the color of the selection is the same as the color of the icon, can be a bit confusing. So yeah, there has been if the contrast sometimes is too much, you can lower the alpha. That is still there, but yeah, we keep working on it. But I think overall it's a good change. It was needed a change of. I think Blender had way too many colors at the beginning. It was confusing because like I'm not gonna. I said I'm not gonna go into all details, but actually I'm going through the details. But for example, it has way too many. It used to have a lot of colors. The shape were fine of some of them, like the world being this is fine, the cube being an object is fine, more than the empty that we have now. But sometimes like the red color for materials was like red, like an error, you know, sometimes can be confusing. Look at this is way too much. It's like a little carnival of like a Christmas tree, red and orange and green and punchy, and So I think overall it's an improvement, but we have still a lot of work to do. Please do provide feedback. Go to devtalk.blender.org. There is a lengthy discussion there about it, and we're all here to help. So just try to give productive feedback, right? Or just try to address like, okay, this little icon, this one. In general, this is the way to go. Maybe in the future we could add like the option to change icons, but that setting was removed because it was broken time ago. So I'm not sure what the developers are thinking regarding that. But for the time being, I think we should all try and fix the current state and try to make this the best looking Blender ever. Monochromatic icons work like if you see like big applications like Photoshop or like even open source applications. I always give this example of Godot engine. How okay, Godot is a much smaller application than Blender, but if you look at the icons they have, they're also monochrome and they work. They're simple shapes, and for the little few things that they have, they work. So maybe we should go with that. I'm not a fan of the icons that are like they have like a 1 pixel width line, but okay, I talked enough about icons. I said I wouldn't, and I did. Blame. I'm to blame. Another big breaking news is that modifiers now work in edit mode. Yes. Celebration. I should add the clapping icons here because they work now. You can finally go to edit mode, add a modifier, and you will see it on the other side. So you can edit, and this was like a showstopper for a lot of people. It took time. It's just not an easy thing to bring back. Remember, 2.8 has a different way of handling meshes. The mesh system in Blender 2.8 is new, so it's the modifiers, the way Blender handles the scene data is new, not the mesh itself. So like the result of the modifiers, this is a copy on write thing, so you can have multiple windows running different data but at the same time or different times, same crazy stuff for the future, for animation 2020 and for the current state of Blender 2.8. So I'm trying to get as fast as possible, guys. Let me know if I'm going way too fast. So I am checking here okay, everything is okay. Yes, is OpenSubD completely implemented? No, not yet. We are live, by the way. I always say that, but just remember, you can give us a you can add me at Blender today actually and ask questions. So I'll try to reply if I manage to keep my voice until the end of the show. Thank you everyone for clapping again. Yes, the claps for Blender. Okay, let's clap all together. Let's make it a clapping. Yes. Edit mode. We love you, edit mode. Don't go away. Okay, enough. Multi-object. Remember that feature that was added at the beginning of the code quest? It was this year that lets you basically edit multiple objects at the same time. You should select 2 objects, you enter edit mode, and it's all happy, fine and dandy. It now works also for pose mode. So if you have 2 armatures, if you like, I should have a better example, but basically if you have these 2 different armatures, you can enter edit mode, pose both objects in the same like at the same time, and you can apply settings to it, for example actions to it, copy paste pose. You can also run a bunch of operations in them from the pose. Here most of the transform ones are working, but everything should be there pretty much. So it's a good time to start animating multiple objects now at the same time. So pretty exciting. Thank you, Dalai Felinto. He's been working on it, and other developers too. But it's awesome to see everybody so involved. Is Dalai coming to the Blender conference? I hope it is. I hope. Yes. More news. Am I going too fast? I lost track of time and space. let's continue. There is also the news from today, but before going to here, I want to address some outliner updates that were actually mentioned here. I think, yes, outliner improvements. Dropping objects. So, do you know this guy, Jack Sculpt? He's an amazing developer that it never ends how much he knows stuff. So he is the creator of the animation nodes add-on, and he also happens to know other parts of the Blender code apparently, because he just, for example, he did an improvement. The drag and drop of blend files in 2.8 was broken. It was broken. It got broken from 2.79 to 2.8, and he brought it back, but with extra spice, because it's just amazing. So instead of just drag and dropping a blend file like you did before, like in 2.79, you will drag something and it will open and it will complain because it's 2.8. Well, now in 2.8, it doesn't complain, but also lets you open the file by just clicking. So that's the first option, or link or append from it. So if you just open, it just opens it, just like it used to do it before. But with new options, you can from here directly jump into link or append, which is super handy. From linking, you can link everything, and append, it works the same. So this is pretty nice, that it will speed up the workflow a lot. It's so nice when developers bring features back, but with the extra stuff. So let's see what else can I open. I'm opening this file, by the way, from the that are available on the cloud. If you go to cloud gallery, I think libraries, art gallery. In the art gallery, there is a section for grease pencil samples 2.8 alpha 2, and there are a few files here that you can see that are, hey, okay, it's not showing the free tag here. I'm gonna fix that. Because I'm logged in. But if you're not logged in, it should show it. Yes. There you go. If you're not logged in, it shows it. I was confused. And you can download for free. You don't have to like register or anything. You can try this awesome blend files for free. It's this one is from Rafa Cano, a friend of Magdalena Martinez Lara, who worked on Hero, and he's coming to give a talk at the Blender conference. Yes. Let's continue. So one of the improvements that he did, let's just do it on a simple file so you can replicate. Oh, did you see that? Here is a blinky thing down here. I don't know if you get to see it. I'm gonna increase my the size. Here you go. Maybe it doesn't fit now. Yeah, it is. So you see now it blinks. The error message or the notification is now at the bottom again. For a couple of weeks it was on the top. Now it's at the bottom, and it now blinks like in full color, so you get to see it. I think it could even be longer, like stay longer with the color. I wouldn't mind, because sometimes you can lose it. Let me know. Do you miss it, like when it shows up here? Do you have enough time to look it down there? So yes, so the improvements that Jack Sculpt did in the collections is about drag and dropping. So it seems like he got inspired by the drag and dropping, and you can now manage your collections much more easily. For example, if you have another collection number 2, and you wanted to move the cube there, you can. That's simple. But what if you want to remove it from all the collections? Let's just leave it on the top. You can do so by just dragging it in the empty area down here. So you just basically pulling them out, and they now belong to the scene collection, so they don't belong to any other collection. So that's pretty neat. So for example, if you have a collection instance of my second collection down here, when I drop objects there, they will start duplicating. But if I remove them, they go away from my collection. So that is pretty neat. It's an easy way to manage the scene. So also dropping should work much better now, even if you're not dropping like exactly on the object itself. Before, if you drop on top of the object, it would always parent, which is not always what you want to do. I think when you're in practice, when you're managing your scene, especially now that the outliner is so important for managing your scene, now that we don't have layers anymore, it's important that you can just drag and drop things around and move them into collections first. If you want to append, you want to parent them, you can do hold shift, and it will parent just like it did before. The same behavior. There's a handy tooltip when you do that. You see, move inside collection, control to click, shift to parent. So that is a pretty good improvement. Thank you, Jax. Look. Next, I have here my list of nodes. This list is like, otherwise I forget. There's so many things. I've been writing them down. I try to cover them as much as possible. There have been improvements all over the board. There is some of them are small and they don't even change your workflow. For example, if you're in the image in Blender 2.7, the list of editors used to be big but still confusing. So if you wanted to edit the shaders and materials, then you didn't know where to go because there's no really a shader editor. There was a node editor. What if you wanted to do compositing? You didn't know it was made with the compositor unless you change here the screen. But now in the 2.8 with the tabs is much simpler, and also because the editors got split into like sub editors. So the node editor got split into the compositor and the shader editor and the texture editor, which is a miracle that it's still there because the texture editor is kind of not in its best shape, but it's there. So the other editor that has way too many functions in 2.7 and still does in 2.8 is the UV/image editor. You can paint textures here. You can also UV edit if you happen to be in edit mode of your mesh and you happen to have a UV unwrap, but you didn't know exactly. You didn't have a mode for editing the UVs. It was always view, which was /edit, paint, and mask, which is they make sense, but the other one, the UV, was a bit left out. Now in the editor, in the UV editor, now you can have we have a new mode which is called UV edit. That way you can have a mode that is only for viewing, no matter if you're in edit mode. So this one, for example, I just unwrapped this, and this is always in edit mode with in view mode. So if you want to have a reference there, the mesh is not gonna appear all the time in front of you. So it's pretty good. So for example, if you enter edit mode, it doesn't appear in front unless you are in UV edit mode. So that is pretty handy. It's a nice way to keep seeing things a bit more separate. And also because in UV edit mode now we have a bunch of tools. The tool system has been improved, not only in the 3D view, but also in the image editor for painting, for example. You can have all of these tools. For masking, still not there. For UV editing, it's there, and you can have a few options here for sculpting, for example, for sculpting your UVs. So it's the beginning of something awesome. It's part of the process of splitting all the editors into sub-editors. So that is pretty neat. Next, since I'm here, speaking of other things that got fixed, I don't know if you noticed, but for a while, the drivers were broken. Like you could add drivers, but you will like add a driver and then it will just make the driver, and then you have to go and dive in the drivers editor, and then you have to edit it from here, which it's a lot more work. In 2.7, Actually, in 2.7 it was the same. You can just Control D, add a driver, and then you will have to go to the other side of the world to edit your driver. In 2.8, for a brief period of time, there was a feature that when you add a driver, like Control D, you could edit this driver here on the spot. This feature got broken for like a few months, weeks, and now it's back. It's amazing. I love this feature. You can finally add a driver, everything from here, without actually going to the drivers editor. You don't have to go there unless you want to. If you want to have more settings or like edit the curve, which is very unlikely you're gonna do unless you are crazy with rigs. Usually what you just want to drive is just a few like an expression from this object, drive this setting, and now you can do it from here, or you can click show in drivers editor and then it will open a driver editor with all the settings here directly with the thing open and everything beautiful, fast. But now they're simple. Yes, they were pretty complicated. Now they're not so much. They're still complicated. Come on, who likes drivers? Everybody loves drivers, of course. Everybody is a rigger inside, but they don't wanna they don't wanna say it. Sorry that I'm drinking tea now. It's just that I try to keep my voice. After this, by the way, if you speak Spanish, after this in 1 or 2 hours, I'm gonna do a live stream, the same, but in Spanish. So I need to keep my voice. And it's a Blender conference. I'm gonna have I'm not gonna have a talk per se. I'm gonna have a meeting with the Spanish community. Maybe we should do a Blender Today meeting next year. What do you think? Do you want that? We get together in the Blender conference and we talk about all the new stuff in Blender today. Oh, that would be awesome with a live stream from the conference. That could be nice. Next thing that I wanted to share. I'm tired, sorry. Optimizations in Eevee. Not only Eevee has been fixed, or like in general, the graphics having fixed to work with more graphics card, having like a Blender in general, the OpenGL is now compatible with more graphics cards. So if you happen to had issues with your computer, like it wouldn't show up correctly maybe a few months ago, try again, download the latest, because even on like older Intel graphics card, it should at least show some stuff. So give it another try, because there has been a lot of work done in that, like driver bugs. That's the word, driver bugs. And a sad new static overrides has been moved to 2.81. Unfortunately, this awesome feature that allows you to add a static override to like basically make a proxy of a setting, keeping everything linked and just change specific settings or properties, it's moved to 2.81. It's still there in the code. You can enable it if you run with -- enable. Let me check. So if I put this guy here, yeah, I think so. So if I do helpo, here, you should have it somewhere here. You can enable enable static -- enable static override. If you want to see this, by the way, you can just run Blender with -help, and you will see all the magic that you can enable, all the crazy stuff that you can enable from here. If you're debugging, if you want to find a bug, you can do it from there. So you can enable the setting static overrides and just use it, but at your own risk. It's not there yet. It's not production ready. That's why it's been moved to 281. But it means that 281 is going to be awesome again. So yeah, I'm pretty sad about that. I was looking forward to it. It's so awesome. So you can still do proxies, of course, just the old way, the 2.7 way. But yeah. Let's move on. Grease Pencil now works together with particles better. Yes. I haven't tested that, so I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to try it even now. But it works much better with particles. There is training coming for Blender Grease Pencil, to the Blender Cloud especially. And there will be some videos on the Blender channel. We want to share some of them for free for everyone, and we want to share the other ones, like the more advanced, maybe on the Blender cloud. That way we promote because I mean, this training has to be we have to pay the teacher, right? So you need kind of a bit of coin for that, so that's why it goes to the Blender cloud, so we can afford and pay trainers to create more awesome high quality content. Today I saw a preview of that training and it was so clear, it's so nice. It was an explanation about the annotation tool, and it was like looking from afar how the explanation goes, like, okay, here, click here, this is how you can change it, and it makes so much sense. Like all the I mean, this is silly, no? But it's nice that 2.8 now is at a state where things make sense, if you get what I'm saying. Actually, I gave a workshop in Chile to people that never used Grease Pencil or even Blender before, and they, like, within minutes, they were just clicking and painting around. It was amazing. It was such a... I was almost crying of happiness there. There has been a new effects, but I think I mentioned that in the last live stream, the effects from Grease Pencil. Otherwise, let me know, but I think it is. There is a few that are lacking the color setting here. Next, the driver is back, the tool system improvements, and I think I'm pretty much there. Oh yeah, the optimizations for Eevee. It should be faster now in edit mode. Like when you see the wireframes, it should go faster now. It's like considerably faster, twice at least of what it used to be in the last couple of weeks. So test that too. Let us know how it goes. And last but not least, development has started in the interactive mode. This real-time mode in Blender, the one that it is basically it's gonna replace in a way the game engine. It's not a full-on game engine first at the beginning. It's more than that, because it's going to replace the physics system as well to work better with the rest of Blender and together in a nice nodal way, so you can have physics going on, then animation and baking and everything in a much more 21st century fashion, unlike the previous or the current physics in Blender, which is a lot less than that. All right, okay, let's get to the questions, because otherwise I'm gonna lose my voice before even managing to answer anything. Let's go all the way to the top as much as I can. This is as far, again, this is scrolling wheel, this is as far as I can go, as YouTube lets me. So hello, I got this. Sorry for the people that were left, but this is as far as I can scroll. Is the interface drawn with Python or C in the code? I suggested you guys change the frame range display, but it seems not in the plan. The frame range in display, you mean the 0 to 250? I think it should be 240, because we have 24 frames per second, so 10 seconds is okay, but 250 doesn't make any sense. I think it's when it used to be 25 frames per second. But yeah, you can change this, but you don't have to change the code. Actually, you can just save your startup file, changing and save your startup file. If you wanna, you can do it too as well, but that's faster. You don't have to code for that. If I'm right, I'm not sure. Frames range display, I'm not sure if you want something else. If you just let me know. What's the visual difference between engine like Unreal, Unity, and Eevee? Visual differences, not many. PBR is PBR. It's just using the right maps for every for displaying stuff. The technology behind it is not like super different. Like there's a bunch of paper that the developers apply, but most of them come from the same sources. So it just depends on how the engine uses it and how optimized it is and how much baking it does inside or under the hood and all of that. But the actual visual result, like the shaders, the Fong shaders, the whatever, they're not so many, and there is the same, usually the same for all engines. Thank you everyone for the nice words here. Why sometimes it's hard to select vertex in edit mode transparent? there has been the Vertex Selection is something that needs work. So as soon as the backtrackers open again after the beta, once the beta is out, please do report that because it needs more testing. Right now, for example, in the selection settings, we have occlusion queries, select auto, and then OpenGL depth picking. So with so many options, it means that there is something that could be improved. Basically, it depends. Maybe now that we have a newer OpenGL by default, it could be improved. But yeah, it needs. Offers tissue. Thank you very much. I am trying not to like sniff on the on the microphone. Hey, thank you so much, Martin. Yeah, I buy some green tea. Thank you. You're awesome. I'm having some tea here on my little Blender internal render of Coro from Caminandes. It was so inspiring to go to. I went to Patagonia, by the way. That's why I also took a bit longer. It was so inspiring to see all the little llamas then running. Thank you, Martin Littleoff. You're awesome. Lauren, why not opening a funding page for users' ideas? Approved devs could take a contract and take the money when the code is finished and validated. It sounds like a great idea. I know, like if you think it's just like, but if you think through it, do you really want that kind of support? Yes, you can still hire developers directly. You can do it yourself, but I don't know if Blender itself is the one that should be doing that because it involves money. It's a bit risky, but you can still do it on your own. I know developers that have been implementing features by themselves, but just because a developer was paid for it. But usually it has to be a good developer or at least a very experienced one because Blender code is not easy. So what if a lot of people jump into the job and try to do it and do it halfway and the feature is there but is not compliant with the Blender code? What if it's not good enough to the level of the rest of the Blender code? Then it wouldn't get approved in the Blender itself, and then the user will get mad, or because they pay money for it and the developer made it, so he got the money. But if the code is not good enough for Blender, then it's not a risky business, risky business. Hi, Marcus. And thank you, everyone. Miss you, Victor too, everyone. Crypto says, I saw the fire and smoke now work better in Blender 2.8 over the last weeks. Still heavy buggy. Do you have any information about what's going on in terms of pushing fire smoke forwards? It's gonna be at least at the level of 2.7. It has to be at least at the level of 2.7. And I know it's not a feature that's gonna be left behind because it's gonna be used and abused during the Open Movie Project Spring, by the way, which has a talk. Maybe I can leave that on the background. Conference 2.8 schedule here. There is a talk on. By the way, all this is gonna be live streamed. So when the Blender conference starts on Thursday, go to here to /Blender conference, and you will be automatically redirected to a page where you can follow the live streams like from your own place. So make sure you tune in, and the talk is on at 10 on Saturday, 10 a.m. Central European time. Next, Whoa262 says, we need a toolbar for commands, baby, not just for custom stuff, but for all the commands. That is not a toolbar, it's a command bar. And all of that is gonna go here on the end panel, especially for add-ons, but you should be able to add your own as well. The feature that allows you to add settings to your quick favorites allows for customization. It's not there yet, but Campbell said that it's super simple, so I bet there's people already writing add-ons for that, and I hope they actually contribute the add-ons to Blender itself so we can all have it. But the add to quick favorites, I was told by Campbell, the one that made it, that it's super flexible and allows not for just one menu, but for multiple menus, like internally in the API thingy. So I bet there will be add-ons doing that. So if you make an add-on, share it with the world, do something nice for once. Not for once, we always do something nice. You're watching this, so you're already doing something nice. if you give it a thumbs up, you're gonna be even nicer. Devil says, how about making lights values the same in cycles and EV? For now, it's something like EV light energy 10, cycles 1000. Yeah, at some point it should be, that will be a breaking point though, but at some point they should match, and I think we're trying to make them as much as possible. But yeah, they should match. Like, the idea is that EV is the quick way of previewing cycles. So X-Dragon says, I did a report crash back 8 weeks ago. Why is that bug still in Blender? Because some bugs take more time than others. Some bugs, maybe there should be a discussion there, but some bugs, remember, they depend on other areas of Blender. So if, I don't know exactly which bug was this, but sometimes, yeah, bug depends on other bugs or other features that are still missing, or they're still being discussed if they're moved to 2.81 or not. So please give developers time. They're working their heads off. You can see that by yourself on BF Blender CVS on this website here. You can see all the commits that keep coming, like all the time. Fix memory leaks, fix crashes, fix crash on startup for all the NVIDIA drivers. Look at this awesome, nice commit from Clement. Developers are working all day for getting Blender as soon as possible stable. Kaneganti, hey Pablo, what happened to Manta Flow integration? It's happening. I mean, it's not there yet, that as far as I know, but Sebas, the developer, was saying that it's close. It was very close. He was working on it. So let's hashtag Manta Flow in 2.8. Manta Flow 2.8 maybe. Derso says, any plans on making snapping increments editable for moving, rotating, and scale in Blender? Hard coded to 5 degrees. Would love some insight. The snapping now is hard coded, but yeah, it's still broken. There is a bug where now, yeah, it's not adapting to the zoom at the moment, but that has been reported, so it should be fixed eventually. It's probably not an easy fix because it has been reported time ago. And about making it editable, I haven't seen this, but hey, what if we comment this to Jax and he fixed the bug and also introduces some, you know, little custom? Oh, that would be nice. No, don't abuse the developers. Just feed the developers. Give them cookies. They're nice. Algote says, get well soon and don't stress yourself. We need you for the conference. Thank you very much. I will try my best. I will try to rest as much as possible. Today I was updating the Blender conference website, and I'm just, at some point I want to stop doing the websites and get back to art. It was so inspiring to go to Chile. Anyway, hey, doing a Halloween up. Great to have you back. Wishing you good health. Thank you anyway. You're awesome. Do you have a date for beta? Yes and no. The date was supposed to be for the Blender conference, like around the Blender conference, but the conference days are, I know we've been pushing it forever. Sorry about that. Let's get serious for a moment. But the conference is the time of the year where a lot of the Blender developers come, not all of them, but most of them come to Amsterdam. They share ideas and they talk to each other, everything. Imagine releasing Blender in those days. It's gonna be crazy. People online are gonna be downloading it, and we have to do a lot of PR and advertisement, and like we, including us that are working for the conference, we also have to like tell the world about it, make videos. So the conference is actually not the best time. Maybe when we announced it, we didn't think it through, but it should happen. It was announced on the previous developer meeting notes, and that it should be around 2 weeks after the here. Happen a week or two after the Blender conference. So basically when things calm down, and I wasn't sharing the screen, but here in the developer meetings of last week, there was a mention about it. Rafael says, there is a chance to bring back the old background image system together with a new one using nulls. it used to be more useful for modeling and layouting. I'm not sure about that. There should be features implemented in the empties, nulls, that should bring that functionality, but I don't think the other functionality will come back. It had its drawbacks, and I think there was something to do with the OpenGL, the update stuff. But hopefully we can bring back the features from the old background images, like only work in a certain view and all of that, to the empties. Hey Andrew, finally you can chat when you're online. Yes, Federico says, ask any idea or when is the shape key stuff gonna be fixed? Few bugs around that when trying to get some keyframes. As I'm not sure about that, because the artists working on the on Spring Open Movie project, they've been using shape keys all the time. So if there is something specific that doesn't work, please wait until the beta and then report the bug. Or if it's broken in 2.7, you can still report bugs there. The bug reports for 2.7 is open normally, but maybe the 2.8 one are gonna get more attention for the time being. Any news on Sergey and OpenSAP Div? Yes, Sergey was on holidays, on a brief holidays before the conference madness. He's back. I saw him today with my own eyes. We happen to work in the front of each other, and he's back, so he's gonna be doing that as soon as possible. Now there is some work with the server at the institute, like replacing hard drives, but yes, and I'm gonna make a video about him, by the way, on related to Intel optimizations that were done recently. Let's see. The job company says Blender 2.8 should come with pre-model custom bone shapes from lazy riggers out there. Yeah, actually that would be a good idea, because they wouldn't use any space. It would be super simple, just vertices. So maybe that would be a nice idea. Good idea, job company. Maybe you can post it on a dev talk, maybe as a new thread or something. But yeah, let's see. No love for riggers and animators like me. No way, don't say that. There is love. There is Grease Pencil. You can switch into 3D and 2D. No, there will be love. Animation 2020, the next big thing is everything nodes, and the next big thing is Animation 2020. So stay tuned. Marcus says, can you help out with any of the web dev as well as the normal Blender stuff? Can you help out with any? I am part of the web dev. I came in as an artist at the Blender studio, and I hope to become one again soon. I'm now helping out with the Blender development because there is no one else doing it on the front end. In the back end there is, but not in the front end. So if you're a front end developer and want to work at Blender, drop a line to share your portfolio. So I can go back and do cartoons. Tomo Prime says, when is the official beta come? I already mentioned a little back. Tyrone Denil, it's like paying for software but buying what you want instead of buying unnecessary crap. I'm not sure what you're saying exactly. There's any way to contribute for something more specific, like for example, give more money to get better new Sculpt things. Not at the time being, as far as I know. There is for corporate memberships, yes, there is. So starting at 6,000 per year, it's possible. So how much is LibreOffice Calc? Who uses LibreOffice Calc? I don't, sorry. Here, but I have it just in case to open. So 6,000 divided by 12. So it's 500 per month. So if you're a small studio, you can actually afford, because this is like 2 Maya licenses, right, per month. And that around that gives you already like a more, you can propose things closely to with the developers, because that actually can buy a lot more time. But in general, the discussion is open as always. And yeah, you should just get the voice out there, because it's not like everything else doesn't get covered. You can, right click select, things are We still have to add a setting here where you can actually mark the ones that are finished, but there is a lot of things that already has been fixed. So yes, nice. Actually, this feature, it was mentioned here, and now if you open Blender, it's there. Ha, nice. With color even better. I like it. Awesome. So thank you, Sebastian Moroy, and thank you, Willem. Awesome. Let's that's an example of how things go. But sculpt mode, actually there was someone, Zacharias made a video about it, so get in touch with them. I know there's people wanting to do the sculpt stuff. Sculpt mode here, for example, 2 people next to each other talking about it. Kaiji on, will 3D cursor get the ability to undo? One of the reasons is constantly draw 3D cursor if I accidentally move it. I can get it back to where it was. And no, well, it's an easy change, but it can also be annoying because then you only have a number of undos depending on your memory. So I don't know if you want always to have that. Could be optional. If you change the code, it's very easy actually to do the undo, to disable undo on operations like that. But yeah, for the time being, it's not. Maybe with an add-on. Interesting. Maybe with an add-on, yes. Huh. Okay. Another idea for an add-on to become rich. Sam Lemon. The icons designs are okay, but can you please give them different colors? Plain white is hard to read when the other plain white icons. Yes, they're getting colors. They're getting colors. Just give it some time. But overall, the idea is that they're a bit more chromatic, so they don't stand out as much. Only when you need it. Maybe a mouse over. Tomo Prime, I forget being away for a while. What are you doing to show us how to build Blender in a new video? Yes, I was about to, then I didn't. Andrea says, hey, Andrea, the author of the icons. I just updated the set so the world icon looks different and many more big and tiny improvements. Thank you, Andrea. You're amazing. You see? Thank you. And it's all out of his free time. He's just amazing. Thank you, Andrea. You're a good person. Don Krieg, world icon was already changed. Already, I forgot. I was, but it's not in the code, not changing the code. Because, well, I didn't follow the thread in, like in Blender Artist, I didn't follow it, but here I think discussion is going on here, or in the, or in the Blender chat. No, I'm almost getting to the end of this show, so let's go for more questions. Can you please let us add commands to the quick favorite from the search menu? Yes, I asked for that already to developers. It's on the to-do list. It's on the to-do list. Not only add favorites from the search, but also add a shortcut, like right click, add shortcut. That's super important now that we don't have so many shortcuts. It's important that we are able to add shortcuts from search, so you can just search for like smooth, and then you right click, and then you add it to add a shortcut or a quick favorite, so that way it should be much simpler. So yes, it's on the to-do list. I asked for it long time ago, and I'm hoping they can manage to do it soon. But they're working on so many things. The Dose says, for Grease Pencil, the draw on surface option would be nice if we could filter objects in the scene, like just the linked object or current collection. That's a good idea. So if you're listening, Antonio Vasquez, developer of Grease Pencil. It's Wu says, we need colors for the icons for the property areas too. Blender Today says, sorry, Extract. Will it be freehand draw tool that can you use to draw lines and convert them to polygon? You can do all that already. It's Grease Pencil, right? So if you are drawing, you can convert. Where is it? Convert Grease Pencil, and then you can convert it to a polygon curve. So now you have polygon curves. So yeah, that's it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. If you know where to look. The option must be there, it's just that I'm running out of time. But it must be there in a menu, sorry. So next I'm like a sheep, like Frank from Cosmos. Next, Lucas Falsao says, I loved the new icons, but it's still missing the icons for the weight paint and vertex paint. They will come. Patience, my friend. Salesforce says, I think you guys need to address change file memory system. Opening 1.3 million vertex and edit mode, RAM usage goes 4 times, and with EV gets even worse. Scales up exponentially. Yeah, memory usage is something that gets improved over time. Just give it time. Give it time. RAM is cheap anyway. No, sorry. Give it time. We actually have a limit on Spring Open Movie Project. Is massive. Yeah, you know Spring, cloud/Spring. Massive. It's supposed to be the best looking render ever in Blender, and it has a limit of 16 gigs of RAM, because we have to send it to a render farm, and it has to be, you know, a cheap render farm because it's a lot to render. So the limit is going to be 16 gigs of RAM, hopefully maybe a bit more, but that means that it's going to push the developers to shrink the memory usage as much as possible, if they can. Hopefully they can. Of course they can. They're awesome. Valentin says, Vertex alpha feature very needed for game development. Developers planning to implement this feature. Glad to see you again. Glad to see you again too, Valentin. Vertex alpha feature. It's, you can paint in Vertex Paint, you mean, or not? You can paint alpha. Blur, add, multiply. There was an option. I can't find it right here, but there was a way to paint alpha. I don't want to sound like crazy, but there was a way. Believe me. Sorry, I can't find it right now. We're about to finish, but there was a way. Yes. Do you know the way? El Alexis, good to see you back. Thank you. Question: how do you make lines thicker on Bezier curves in object mode? They're practically invisible. Bezier curves, just like always, right? So you add a new curve, Bezier, and then Alt S. Alt S was the shortcut, which still is there. It hasn't been removed. So if I go with like fill full and no, sorry, it was the bevel, geometry, bevel, there you go. Bevel should be more, there you go. Alt S, right? To make things thicker. Or you mean the OpenGL lines? There's no way currently to make, sorry, you were talking about OpenGL. Not that I know, no, there's no current way. Share your screenshots just to see how it looks. Maybe because Mac has dual like high DPI and hasn't been tested thoroughly yet on that kind of screens, but it will be fixed. It should be fixed. Jess Trista says, okay, oh geez, already too late. Let's do 5 more questions because I already been too late. It's been 2 weeks, so okay, 2 questions, 5 questions, sorry. 1, Jess Triska says, is there a fallback option to run 2.8 on devices with less than OpenGL 3.0? I'm afraid it's 3.3 actually, not 3.0. And no, for the time being, I don't think there is. There's always 2.7 though. They made movies with it. They made like Next Gen is made with 2.7. So yes, you can make movies like Netflix Next. I mean, I know this is not the nicest comment to say like, yeah, you can just use 2.7, why not? But I mean, if they made this feature film, it means it can be possible, but unfortunately you need a better graphics card, one that is at least 5 years old or less. Usually they have or even 8 years old or something. They have 3.3. So Earth Ether says, number 4, well, when will multi-res work in Sculpt mode? Soon. It should be like super soon, no matter of weeks, before the beta. Yes, I commit to this. Stephen Bates says, number 3, should index of refraction be working with EV and the principal VSDF? I think so. I don't want to, but you remember you should be changing in EV. This should change, yeah. Remember to play here with the settings of enabling refraction everywhere on the screen space, reflection and refraction, so that way you know it's working. Number 2, it opens up the completely implemented. No, it's coming super soon, but I already mentioned that. So another 2. Tonton Pascal says, hi Pablo, is there a way to get a widget mover scale back on object center? Well, it's always in the object center unless you choose a different pivot point. Yes. So for example, if you put it in the 3D cursor, or if you put it to the individual origins, it should be there. In this case, it's in the center where it should be by default. Oficina del Salame says, why Ctrl+C doesn't affect the 3D cursor reposition? I hit every time because it's not set. It's an actual decision to be taken, because this is something you do all the time. Imagine if you do it by mistake and then you lose all your Ctrl+C back for like undo steps. So yeah, it's a decision that was taken. So yeah, sorry about that, but maybe if more people ask for it, it could be made into an option. All right, that was number 5, and it's 5 minutes past 10 p.m. I'm going to start shutting down this live stream. I hope to see you soon again next week at the same time on the same channel, but maybe even before. Maybe I can do something from the Blender conference. Make sure to follow on the social media down here. You can have all the URLs, and follow the live streams of Blender conference, because it's gonna be amazing. Like the keynote, after the keynote we have Captain Disillusion, the YouTuber that is just amazing. It's not only debunks all kinds of tricks and VFX. You learn a lot of VFX from him, but also is a great guy, and he's using Blender for a lot of his effects. So it's gonna be super inspiring. Then you have all kinds of things. You have Skywatch, the new film from Colin Levy, director of Sintel and co-director of Agent 327. He is now going to talk about his new film Skywatch, and then we might get to see it at the Blender conference. Yeah, maybe not live. Then you have Yama, like, you know this guy? Of course you know this guy. He's amazing. He works at Lucasfilm. He's been using grease pencil for this amazing stuff. Like, this is grease pencil, crazy. And he's gonna give a talk at the Blender conference. So I'm gonna be like a groupie, like, hey, hello, I'm here. And it's gonna be awesome. Godfrey is gonna be there. Andrew Price is gonna be there. All the big names gonna be there. There will be a 2.8 talk about the status of 2.8 report from Ton, and there will be the Blender Developers AMA. John Denning, the cookie, it's gonna be there. Yes, I will be so cool. I'm looking forward to see him. And the talk from, I mean, it looks like I'm doing PR here, but actually the talk from Hjalti, The Illusion of Animation. Have you seen his previous talks at the Blender conference? You should, because it's just amazing Blender conference. This is like a series he's been doing about animation in general. So you have the appeal of animation, and then you have the principles of animation, and then you have the joy of animation, and now we have the illusion of animation. Make sure you watch the other ones, because you learn so much. It's a half an hour, just super snappy. It's awesome. So yes, super fun times coming. Zakaria is gonna be there, all the superstars, Olivier, everyone. All right, I will see you again stay tuned for more awesome Blender stuff. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been super fun. I missed this. I super missed this actually. I will try and do it as thank you very much. Thank you, Sam Lemon. Thank you. You should use other software outside of work hours to see what the industry is like. Yes, I agree with you. I agree we should use other software just to see what the industry is like. When I was in Chile, in Santiago, I attended a talk by other people. Like there were people from the industry, like Diana, Sergio. For example, he's been directing movies, TV series for like Star Wars and stuff at the Lucasfilm. Lidon, he directed Pilvi, the short film from DreamWorks. He directed it, and he was there and super relaxed and talking about what like making film, and it was so inspiring, and seeing what Blender can do and getting also inspired together with Natalia Guareva. She gave a talk about Redshift, and I was like, boom, that's awesome. It wasn't so different from Cycles in terms of speed and general. Was pretty similar, at least I think that's what I had in mind. But when she started using light linking, remember like what Blender Internal had, that you can choose light groups to see which object which light affects which object. Well, that's used so much, and I want that in Cycle so much. Then Greg, another amazing from was sharing rigs from Hotel Transylvania, was just insane. And Almu gave a talk about Almu Redondo. She's from Spain. She's working at Cartoon Saloon doing amazing concept art. Just check these people up. It's been great. For me, it was life-changing, I would say. I want to drop all this website stuff, and I wanted to go back and do art. So yes, we're gonna check on what the industry is doing. It's so inspiring. We should all thrive to have the best creative tools at hand that we can, right? Let's do it together. Let's do it together. Now we can. We have the tools. We have the ways to make the best. So let's do it. Please don't stop sharing these kind of videos if you find them inspiring, and I will see you again in the next week. Yes, I'm gonna put the same music I put every week. So watch out your earphones, and I will go with the Gilles song from Street Fighter. So 1, 2, and yes. Thank you everyone once again. I miss you so much. I will see you again in the next week. Ciao.